Hi, Cyber Spartans. For this first Scratch activity, we'll be looking at the repeat block. So in Scratch, the repeat block is a control block. So the blocks held inside of the repeat block will loop in a given amount of times before allowing a script to run. So first, let's investigate the following script of our mommy chicken sprite and investigate what is wrong. So it's easier to see while we're playing the game, but keep an eye on the timer. What appears to be our problem after pressing play? Well, the problem with our current script is that the timer stops at 50 seconds instead of 0. So let's take a look inside of our code to see if we can fix this problem. We're going to click on See Inside. Then we're going to click on the mommy chicken sprite, which should be on characters. And from there, we will look at the repeat block. So the current repeat block only repeats 10 times. You can see right here. And each repetition only reduces the timer by 1 second. Therefore, after 10 repetitions, the timer is only reduced by 10 seconds instead of 60 seconds. The solution would be changing the parameter of the repeat block from 10 right here all the way to 60. So by changing this parameter, the loop will run for 60 times instead of 10 times. And after 60 repetitions, the timer is only reduced from 60 seconds to 0. So if we press play, we should see that the timer continues after 50. And it should go all the way to 0. But once you're playing the game, you should see that. Yep, and you can see that it's working because we fixed the parameters on the mama chicken sprite. And that is it for activity 1. Hopefully you guys have fun and are able to figure it out here for yourselves. Hi, Cyber Spartans. Welcome to Scratch activity number 2. And for this activity, we will be focusing on the forever block. It is one of the most common loop blocks in Scratch, and it is also a control block. So the blocks held inside of the forever block are kind of in a loop, just like the repeat block, except the loop never ends. And it will only be stopped if you hit the stop sign right here. If you click on it, the stop all block is activated, or if the stop script block is activated within the loop. So let's try and play the game and try to move the bowl sprite. So we'll see that our problem here is that if we try to move the bowl sprite to the left or right, it doesn't work. So let's try and fix this problem by taking a look inside of our code. So we will click on See Inside. So once we are on this page, we will click on the character that is the bowl sprite, and we will see that even though the current script for the bowl sprite has the key right arrow press and the key left arrow press blocks, it can only be moved once. So that when we try to play the game, we cannot move the bowl sprite. If we want to move it indefinitely, we need to put these blocks into a forever block. To add a forever block, we will go to the Control tab, which is the orange tab right here, and we will drag 2 forever blocks onto the script area. 1 forever block, 2 forever blocks. So once these 2 forever blocks are in the script, we have to decide whether or not we want to put them on the inside or the outside of the if-then block. We want to put the if-then block inside of the forever loop to run the if-else statement indefinitely. If the if-then block surrounds the forever block like this, the script won't work. So we have to put the forever block on the outside. Do that for both bowl sprites. And once we do that, the final product should look like this. And now when we try and play the game, we can move the bowl sprite to the left and to the right and catch these eggs. And it's as simple as that. Hope you Cyber Spartans have fun and are able to win this game.
Welcome to Scratch Activity 3. In this activity, we're going to be reviewing the concept of the control structure in Scratch, specifically the if-then block. Now let's remember that the if-then block will tell the computer the following. If it satisfies the condition, it will perform the task. Otherwise, it will do nothing. And so let's look at the eggs in this game and see what happens. So it's supposed to touch the bowl, and then when it does, it generates money. But right off the bat, we can see that the money is being generated without the sprite or the egg touching the bowl. Let's go ahead and stop this, and we're gonna have to look inside at the coding to see what's going on. And so it looks like this is what's controlling the movement. So if we look here, it says forever. And if the sprite is on edge, it bounces, okay? And then it says change money by 5. All right, so this could be our problem because it says that it will change, it'll generate money by 5 indefinitely. And there is no if-then condition. So the money will generate without the egg touching the bowl, which is not what we want. Let's go ahead and try to see how we can fix this. We're going to go ahead and go to the control section of the blocks, and then we're going to look for if-then. All right, so we're going to grab this if-then, and we're going to drag it underneath the if on edge. And so it includes all of these 5 blocks. So now we want to make it so that it will make a condition so that it only generates money if something is touching the bowl. So we're going to grab this block from the sensing. We're going to drag it into this open space right here. And we're going to click on bowl since we want it to touch the bowl. And so now it says if the sprite is touching the bowl, then change money by 5. So now we got it to generate money by 5 when it touches the bowl. So let's go ahead and go back and see if this solves our issue. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the project page and let's start from the beginning. So right off the bat, I can see that the money is not being generated because the eggs are not touching the bowl, which is exactly what we want. Looks like we solved our problem. And so now the challenge is for you guys to find the problem and fix it. So good luck. I hope this helped and have fun.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing the challenge activity. And so for this activity, we would like this play button right here, the egg with the play written across it. We want this to change color whenever we hover the mouse pointer to it. And so if you see right now with my mouse hovering over it, it's still white. Our goal for today is to be able to get that to change to a different color whenever our mouse is hovering over it. To do that, we need to go to our sprite area with all of our sprites, and we need to find the play button. It's labeled play button right underneath right here, and you can see that has the egg and the play. So we need to click on that, and here we have our code for this sprite. So what we need to do first is go to the script area, and we're going to insert the forever block right underneath this blue go to X, Y block. If we go to control with the light orange and we find the forever block right here, it says forever, we're going to drag that underneath the blue block. And this forever block is going to tell the sprite to do something forever. You'll see at the end of it, it's basically going to tell the sprite that whenever we hover our mouse over the egg, it's going to change colors. And that's always going to happen. So that's basically what the forever block does. So the second part to this is we're going to insert the if, then, and else block inside this forever block. And that is also going to be right underneath the forever block in the light orange control options. And if you go down to if, then, and else, you can find it. All you need to do is drag that inside the forever block. So it's not this if, then, because there is no else. So that means when we use the if, then, else block, the else is going to give this sprite options. So it's either going to change color when we hover our mouse over it, or it's not going to change color. And those are the only two options that it's going to give the sprite. The third step to this is that we're going to insert the touching mouse pointer block into this little condition or this little gap area inside this if, then, and else block. And so the touching mouse pointer block is going to be in the sensing, the sort of turquoise color, right underneath control, sensing, right here. And we just need to find right here, the touching mouse pointer block. And we're just going to drag that inside this condition so that if touching mouse pointer, then. So that's what we have so far. We're almost done, so the next thing we're going to do is we want this first statement. So this is the first statement, this little empty spot right here, is going to be option number 1, which is going to switch this costume to costume 2. So we need to find the costume block, and that's going to be in the looks in the purple color right here. We're going to click on that, and we're going to find switch costume 2, which is right here. And we're just going to drag that in the first empty space right underneath the touching mouse pointer block. And we're going to leave that how it is. We don't want to switch it to costume 1, we want it to switch to costume 2 when our mouse is hovering over this egg. And then the next option we're going to give them is the switch costume to costume 1. So we're going to find the same block that we used, except instead of the costume 2, we're going to switch costume to costume 1. So if we click on this costume 2, we see costume 1, and we're going to click on that. So now, instead of it saying switch costume to costume 2, it says switch costume to costume 1. So what this does is it's giving the user the option to switch costumes for this play button. So whenever we hover our mouse over it, it's going to switch to costume 2. And when we're not hovering our mouse over it, it's going to switch back to costume 1. And costume 1 is this white color, and costume 2 is going to be the orange color. So now all we need to do is test it to make sure that the code is running smoothly. So we just need to hit this go button, or the green flag, press go, and if we hover our mouse over the play button, it, boom, changes color to the orange and it switches to costume 2. And if we don't hover our mouse pointer over the play button, it switches back to costume 1, or the white color. So basically, if touching mouse pointer, then it switches to costume 2. Else, we're not touching the play button with our mouse pointer, it switches back to costume 1, the white color. So there you have it. You guys are hopefully now able to change the color of the play button, and I hope you guys are all successful.